What's up, y'all? So I decided to make a video titled Pretty for a Dark Skin Girl, because I think when I talk about this, like with some of my friends, this always comes up, colorism and things like that in our community. So I'm like, let me make a video about it. Plus there was an incident that happened on April Fools that I want to get into, so I'll tell you a little bit about it. Basically on April Fools, April 1st, Cash Doll posted a sonogram of like a pregnancy or whatever. So I know it's April, so I'm like, April Fools. All I put under this picture that one of these gossip sites put up was April Fools. And, the red emoji with the two exclamation points. So that was it. I'm just minding my business, going about my day. So later on that night, somebody commented right under my comment, replied to me, "She's the only dark skin that I would ever talk to." Now, this is lighting. I may not look dark, but I am dark. Like, I'm brown. I'm chocolate. So I was just thinking, like, what made him decide, even if it's a he, because who knows? It's probably a troll. They could be like a she. Who knows? Why did they choose my comment? Because my comment was nothing about how she looked. I was talking about the fact that she was supposed to be, allegedly pregnant, and I knew better. Like, come on now. It's April 1st. I try to put, like, the screenshots up also. So after I posted that, people started commenting under my post again, under my comment, dragging him, replying to him like, "Oh, you think she would like you? Like, what make you think she would like you?" Like, going in on him because of the dark skin comment, right? So I screenshotted it to my friend. Shout out to Janae. I'm like, you see this? Because we actually had a conversation about being dark skinned last year. So I was just like, do you see this? Like, I just couldn't believe that in 2020 we are still like, we still got people out here like this. You know what I mean? So he was just going back and forth with the person, going in. Like, they were going in on him, and he was going back and forth about supporting, how he felt. So I'm like, okay, this would be a perfect, like, video idea so we can, like, talk about this, how we got to this place in 2020. So if you've been watching me a while, you know that I always say, I feel like you got to go backwards in order to move forward. This is one of those situations. You have to look at, this is something that was passed down from generation to generation. And the reason why I know this is because I was raised by my mom and my grandmother. From the moment I was born, like when I got out of the hospital, I went to my grandmother's house. My mom stayed with my grandmother, so, I stayed with them. So I saw firsthand, like what it was like. My grandmother was someone that picked cotton. She was born in 1919. So I shared a lot of stories and information, got a lot of information from her. So that's how I know these things. So I'm going to get into that. That way you can understand where we are in 2020 and how we got to this point. Because you have to have compassion for people and understanding to how, people can be brainwashed. Because that's basically what it is. My first idea or understanding of colorism came from my grandmother. She basically, I was probably about 5 or 6 years old. She was doing my hair for school because my mom used to get ready early in the morning. Like, she used to be at work early in the morning. So she would get me up, do my hair, get me ready for school. So while she was doing my hair, you know how the brown paper bags, you can actually roll your hair with brown paper bags. So that was in my bow box. So she took out the little piece of the brown paper bag that was rolled up, because you actually you roll it up and you can roll it around your hair. And in the morning when you wake up, if you put like stuff on it, it'll be curly. So she pulled it out. She was like, "You see this right here?" She was like, "This brown paper bag." She said, "When I was little, a guy couldn't bring you home if you weren't the color of this paper bag." And I was like, "What?" She said, "Yeah. If you didn't pass the test, if a woman didn't pass the test of being this color of this bag or lighter, then it wasn't acceptable for a guy to bring her home to his family." And I was just like, my mind was just blown, right? Because I'm a kid, who looks at stuff like that? Like, I thought that was super petty, right? So she put the bag up beside my arm, and I'm darker than the bag. And she was just like, "We don't live in those times anymore." She was like, "Well, a lot of people still feel like this, and a lot of people still think like this." And I was just like, wow, like when you think about it, that's a heavy conversation to have with the child, right? But she was the first one to break me into this before anybody else. And I guess that's the whole point. Like, people need to have these tough conversations with their kids or grandkids, with family, people that you love, because the streets will definitely point out that you're a different color. You get what I'm saying? You'll leave your house and somebody call you black, and you didn't even know anything about this. Basically, that was her way of educating me, you know, like letting me know like what the times were like and preparing me for the world, because basically that's what you do. You send children into the world. So it's like you try to let them know, you know, what they will be up against, you know. So that's what happened with that. I just remember little times like when it comes to like, you know, being black in color and stuff like that. I used to like to go swimming in the summertime. I used to always like, can I please go swimming? Can I please go to the swimming pool? It was up the street in walking distance. She was, no, you're going to get black. You don't need to get blacker. You don't need to get any blacker. No, you don't need to go. And so as a kid, I was always sad because I'm just like, I just want to swim. I don't care about being black. Like, if I have to be blacker, then I'll just have to be blacker. Like, it wasn't a problem to me, but it was a problem to her. Now, as a grown woman, I look into her life. She came from a time where, you know, she picked cotton. Basically, you were treated better if you were lighter back in that time. I'm from the South. She told me a lot of stories about different things that she went to, how rough her childhood was. And basically, if you were lighter, you were treated better. In her mind, she thinks that she was helping me. You know what I'm saying? Like, she, you know, don't get any darker so people won't be, you know, more judgmental towards you. I can't be mad at her. Like, as an adult now, I have compassion for things because that had to be a really tough time for her. You get what I'm saying? For her to want to tell me this day and age, like she no longer picks cotton, but for her to tell me and try to prepare me and stop me from getting darker so I wouldn't be treated unfairly like that. You know, like she's still struggling with it. And it's kind of like a mental thing. It's like a mental brainwashing. You get what I'm saying? So it's like you pass this on to your children. They pass that on. Like, it's really just crazy how it just got this far. And it's like, it really has to stop. But the only way it will is if we keep talking about it. It's important that we have these conversations with children, with each other, with adults. So, you know, because when I speak to like my darker friends or whatever, not all of them, but some of them, it has come up, you know, and it's like some of them were treated like unfairly and stuff like that. I didn't really encounter a lot of that, so I'll go into that a little later. But my mom told me about when she was a little girl. My great grandmother, she actually died on Christmas Day before I was born. My mom was younger when she died. But before she died, my mom actually overheard her talking about her. So my grandmother had a lot of kids. My mom was the next to last. She had a baby brother that's a baby brother. So he was light. My mom is like a pecan tan. So she overheard my grandmother saying, yeah, a little dark when she too dark. I don't like her. She's too dark. My mom said that she went home. She was really sad about it. It really hurt her feelings, you know. So she said she cried all the way home because my great grandmother stayed in walking distance. So she said she cried all the way home and told my grandma about it. And, you know, grandma was like, she's just old. Grandma just old and crazy. Don't pay her no attention. You know, like just, you know, trying to like, you know, not make it as bad or whatever, downplay it and stuff. So what happened was some months later, my great grandmother ended up getting sick. So guess who had to go and take care of her? My mama. My grandmother sent my mother, you know, to go and help take care of her because her little brother wasn't old enough, and plus she was the girl. So she had to be the one to go and take care of her while she was sick, you know, clean up. You know, my mom say sometimes she would throw up and she had to clean it up, like all kind of craziness, right? You know what happens when people are sick with cancer and stuff. Mom said that one day my great grandmother took her hand and said, I didn't know that you overheard me talking about you. Like, she said, I've been really sick and I'm just really miserable and I've been in a lot of pain, and you know, that's not how I really feel about you. She was like, out of all my grandkids and, you know, out of my kids, you the one that always come for me. You always go to the store for me. You always do everything. She was like, you know, that little boy, you know, the little red one, he don't even care about me. He never want to come see me. You know, he don't want to be here when he is here. Like, he was the one that didn't have no time for her. You know, he was little, you know. But the one that was so loving and you know, loved her grandmother regardless was my mama. So it's like, I'm glad that she got that closure too, because that's really important. Because a lot of times, people that are mistreated or overhear things or even call things to their face, they don't get an apology. They have to walk around with this, you know what I'm saying, like still, and don't get an apology to this day. That's why you have people that are messed up out here. That's why I said in my first video that I ever made, it was the shortest video, but I said some of the deepest stuff in that video. I said sometimes you have to forgive yourself. Like, that's what I mean by things like that. Like, in order to heal, it's like you're not going to get that apology. Some of these people ain't even sorry to do things to people. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of these people don't see the error of their ways. They don't care. So it's just like you would never get an apology for this person. In order to heal yourself, apologize to yourself. You get what I'm saying? And no, it's not like you did it to yourself, but I'm just saying you have to forgive yourself for allowing certain things that happen to you, because it's just deep. It's just certain things that require that. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like you're not going to get it from this person, so just give it to yourself. Give this love to yourself. What I'm trying to say is, like, you may never get an apology from a certain person because they don't see that what they did was wrong. What you can do is talk to yourself like you are that person. Like, okay, this happened to us. It did, and I'm sorry that this happened to you. I love you. Like, you just talk to yourself the way that you would want to receive that, that love and that closure. That way you can move forward. Sometimes you have to, you have to be your own therapist, and you have to talk to yourself, and you have to get yourself through things. So this is what I'm trying to explain in a situation like this. When it comes to me, like my life, like encountering things like that, I really didn't. Like, it's kind of like, I feel like as children, people talk junk. It's just like roasting, So I feel like my cousins would call me black, but it's like, you black, like, what I'm saying? Like, I always had a little snazzy comeback. So I don't know, like, you say something to me crazy, I'm going to say something to you crazier, like quick with it. You know what I'm saying? Like a battle rapper or something. Like, I don't know. Like, I always just had that. So it's kind of like, people hurt my feelings when I was little with stuff like that. I didn't really encounter that. You get what I'm saying? So I guess, and then in the house that I live, I was the only child. So I wasn't around other kids. It's only like when I went out and went to school and stuff like that. So it wasn't like I was around it and like I had another sibling that was lighter than me, and I felt like I was treated a certain way and they weren't, So it's just like that stuff like that. I really didn't encounter that. Back then, I noticed like lighter people in videos, lighter girls and stuff like that. No, mostly like mixed girls, stuff like that. Used to be in music videos and stuff. This was like a long time ago. But I only encountered one person that I dated that ever had a problem or said something about like darker people. So my one ex, I was her second girlfriend. So she dated men, before me. So she said that she didn't used to date darker men because she didn't want to mess around and have her dark-skinned child. And I remember when she said that, we were like riding in the car. I didn't even like feed into it. Like, I didn't even ask why or even get into that. Because I was just like, this is crazy. Like, this is ignorant. Like, she doesn't make any sense. You get what I'm saying? So it's just like, I didn't even like address it. I just let it go. I just let it fly or whatever. And I just chopped it up to her being ignorant. Like, something is wrong with you. The same girl that I'm telling y'all about, she, that's the one from my last video when I said I dated I ain't gonna say her name, but anyway, I told you it was like a back and forth, and we used to break up all the time and get back together. I promise you, it seemed like every time we broke up, we used to go to the same club. It seemed like every time we broke up, she would try to get the lightest female that she could find. You know what I'm saying? But it's so weird. It's so funny because like when we did finally like break up for real, like years later, I saw her dating darker girls. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, so I thought, like I was the only, like I didn't never tell this, but I'm like, oh, so I was the only one, but now it's the trend, right? Now you into it. But like, I think she used to, I don't know if she used to do that deliberately or what, but it seemed like she would find the lightest girl, you know what I'm saying? And it was just like so funny to me. I always had like these weird, crazy stories, right? So one of the girls that she dated was lighter. They dated for a little while, you know what I'm saying? We was on our off again thing. The girl ended up going back to her ex. So I still wasn't back with her, I still didn't get back with her. So I was single in the club. So the girl was in the club, that my ex used to date. She was with her girlfriend that she had went back to. She had a friend. The girl walked by in the club, she was real cute. She was like Puerto Rican, had long hair, had a ponytail, a braid ponytail down to the bottom of her butt. Like her hair was real long. So they walked by in the club, it's nothing. So I'm like, I see her, but I just, it's nothing, whatever. So we all have mutual friends. So the girl that my ex-girlfriend used to date, her girlfriend comes up to me and I'm like, what's she about to say? Like, you know what I'm saying? She about to ask me questions about her dating my ex or whatever, what's going on. So, I listen. So she's like, well, my best friend want to holler at you. I'm like, your best friend? She's like, yeah, look, her. So the best friend is the girl that walked by, the Puerto Rican girl with the long hair that I was telling him about, that I saw her because it's like, I saw you see something that looked good, but it's just like, I wasn't, thinking about it like that. So I'm like, dang, she want to talk to me like you will. For some reason, I guess, like, society, you think, like, she, like, one of the baddest ones in the club. Like, she was just beautiful, right? So you think that he would just look for, like, I don't know, something like that. I don't know. So anyway, I'm bringing this up because it's, like, it goes with the conversation that we were talking about. So, I'm like, oh, I'll talk to her, whatever. So she's like, well, she only in town for the weekend. And, you know, we start chopping it up. And then so like, it's crazy. We end up leaving together. So it's 4 of us in the car. The girl that used to talk to my ex in the front seat, in the passenger seat, her girlfriend driving the car, and she know that her girl used to date my ex. The best friend is in town for the weekend, but she like me. It was just like real funny, right? And then it's so crazy because we had to drive. The club was in North Carolina. They lived in South Carolina, so it was a long car ride. So of course my ex came up and she was like, yeah, she couldn't take it. The girl's girlfriend was like, yeah, she couldn't take care of her. She ain't had that money like I had, this and that. Going in, like dragging her, whatever. So we all like having our little input, you know, like laughing about it or whatever. So I'm chopping it up with the girl that liked me, you know, the girl that's in town for the weekend or whatever. So I'm chopping it up with her. So I'm just talking to her. And she from Miami. Well, I don't think she was born there, but that's where she lived. She was in Miami. So she was like, I was like, you know, why you like me? Like, what made you choose me? Like, I was just curious. You know, I'm like, what made you choose me? She was like, I think you beautiful. She was like, you exactly my type. I love chocolate. Like, I love dark-skinned women. They just do something for me. And I was just like, really? Like, you know what I'm saying? She was like, yeah, it's just like the opposite of me. And it's just, you know, different things that she went into. Basically, that was my first conversation that I had with somebody that, you know what I'm saying, told me about how they felt about darker skinned women, like me being that type. Now it seems like I only attract that type of person. Like every time I date somebody, like my ex, she used to call me her chocolate drop. My sis called me that too every now and then. But like, you know, I used to like old school movies like The Addams Family. You remember Morticia and her husband, how he would like, she would hold out her arm and he would kiss all the way up her arm from her hand. She used to do me like that, and she would just literally like hold my hand and look at her hand and just like look at it with a smile on her face. Like she really loved the fact that I was not her color. Like I really was darker. Like she really was into like darker skin. Like it was just like, it's crazy. But it seemed like I always attract that type of person that like that's their type. So it's kind of like, instead of getting the flip side of it, you know, like, you know, being mistreated and stuff like that, it seemed like that type of people are attracted to me. I kind of feel like it's like an energy that I give off because my grandmother and my mother did, you know, instill in me like, you're beautiful and, you know, it's not about your complexion. You need to be smart. You know, they wanted me to be smart. They were more interested in me being smart than like being pretty and stuff like that. But, you know, like, I think it's because of where I came from and how I was loved on and, you know, how I was treated by them that made me, you know, go into the world the way that I am, so strong and so, you know, comfortable in my skin that I don't really encounter that. You get what I'm saying? But it's a lot of people that do. I hear a lot of stories of people about people that do. So that's why I decided to make this video, because I'm like, it really needs to be talked about more, you know? I'm kind of glad that situation happened because, like I told you, I really don't encounter that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always get people come up to me like, you're so beautiful. I love your color. Like, really talking about my complexion. Like somebody, it always comes up about my complexion. You're so brown, you're so chocolate, this and that. So until this happened, I really didn't even think about it like that. Like you see more, you know, natural hair, more, you know, darker people, darker shades of makeup. I remember back in the day, you couldn't even find a darker shade. Like even now up into the darkest, you probably still can't find. But like, I thought we were past that, but this goes to show that we aren't. So what that means is that we need to keep on, you know, talking about this and till that it's over. You know, I hope at some point it is, because the whole point is of that post, the first thing that I thought about was, what if a child sees this? We all know that children are on the internet looking at stuff. So what if they see these comments and feel that they are lesser than, you know, a lighter person? The whole point of this video is that I want people to have the tough conversations. I want people to connect. I want people to, you know, get through the things that we're going through, because basically it doesn't matter about your color. It doesn't matter about your bank account, any of that. We are all in a pandemic together. So basically we all just need to love on each other. We just need to support one another, and we just need to get over the ignorance. The only way that we can do that is by addressing these things and having these tough conversations. But, you know, just love on each other and love on yourself. And that's really all I got to say about that.